The warning lights on the bridge of the cargo ship Stalwart flashed red as the emergency signal came through. Chief Engineer Hyun-woo Park looked up from his coffee and frowned. In 20 years of space travel, he had learned that flashing red lights usually meant someone was about to have a very bad day. "Captain Lee, we have an incoming distress call," said Communications Officer Ji Yoon Choi. Her voice was steady, but Hyun-woo could hear the worry underneath. "It's from Deep Haven Mining Station on Kepler 442b. Captain So-min Lee moved quickly to the communications panel. She and Hyun-woo had been friends since their academy days. He knew that look on her face. Someone needed help, and So-min Lee never turned away from people in trouble. "Put it through," So-min ordered. The voice that came through the speakers was rough and tired. "This is Station Chief Dong Hyun-yoon of Deep Haven Mining Station. We have a code red emergency. Our main transport ship Mountain's Edge is stuck in the muck fields. We have 300 people who need evacuation before the big storm hits. Anyone out there, please respond." Hyun-woo set down his coffee cup. He knew about Kepler 442b. It was a mining world on the outer rim where storms could last for months. The planet was famous for its shifting muck, a strange material that acted like liquid most of the time but turned hard as concrete when electromagnetic storms passed over it. "This is Captain So-min Lee of the cargo vessel Stalwart," So-min replied into the microphone. "We received your distress call. What is your current situation?" The relief in Yoon's voice was clear. "Thank the stars. Captain, we have a category. 5 Tempest coming in 72 hours. Our ore hauler Mountain's Edge got caught in the muck during the last electromagnetic pulse. The stuff hardened around it like rock. We can't move it." Young maintenance technician Tae-ho Kim looked up from his repair work. "Captain, didn't the Confederation send ships to help? Their hover technology should handle that kind of problem easily." Yoon's bitter laugh came through the speakers. "They tried, son. 3 different alien rescue teams. Their fancy ships couldn't handle the electromagnetic interference. Every time they got close, their systems went crazy. They gave up this morning." Hyun-woo rubbed his chin. He had worked on dozens of different worlds, and he knew that alien technology was usually more advanced than human engineering. But sometimes their advanced systems were too delicate. Human ships were built like old-fashioned tanks, heavy, tough, and simple. "Chief Yoon," Hyun-woo said, stepping closer to the microphone. "This is Chief Engineer Hyun-woo Park. Can you describe exactly how the ship is stuck?" "Engineer Park, the Mountain's Edge is buried up to its cargo bay doors. The muck hardened during the electromagnetic pulse 3 days ago. We estimate about 2,000 tons of the stuff is holding it down. The ship's anti-gravity systems are completely fried." So-min looked at Hyun-woo. "Can we help them?" Hyun-woo thought for a moment. The Stalwart was not a rescue ship. It was a simple cargo vessel with basic equipment. But it had something the alien ships did not have: mechanical systems that worked without computers. "Chief Yoon, what kind of equipment do you have at the mining station?" Hyun-woo asked. "We have the usual mining gear. Heavy excavators, plasma cutters, some lifting equipment, but nothing strong enough to pull out a ship that big." "What about the muck itself? Does it soften up again after the electromagnetic activity stops?" There was a pause. "Well, yes. It goes back to being liquid-like after a few days, but we don't have a few days. The big storm will kill everyone at the station if we don't evacuate." Hyun-woo's mind was already working on the problem. He had dealt with similar situations before. Not exactly the same, but close enough. The key was not to fight the problem, but to understand it. "Captain," he said to So-min, "I think we can help them." "Are you sure?" "The Confederation ships failed." "The Confederation ships failed because they tried to use their advanced technology. Sometimes the old ways work better." Tae-ho moved closer. "What are you thinking, Chief?" "The alien ships tried to simply lift the Mountain's Edge out of the muck using anti-gravity. But if the muck is hardened, that won't work. It's like trying to pull a nail out of concrete by just pulling straight up." Ji Yoon looked confused. "So what's the answer?" "We don't pull it out. We make the concrete soft again, then we pull it out." So-min nodded slowly. You want to soften the muck somehow. Exactly, and I think I know how to do it. But we need to get down there first. Chief Yoon, So-min said into the microphone, we're coming to help. Prepare a landing area for our shuttle. Captain Lee, I have to warn you. The electromagnetic interference gets worse every hour. Your ship's electronics might not work properly once you get close to the planet. Hyun-woo smiled. Chief Yoon, this is a human cargo ship. Half our systems are mechanical backups. We'll manage, understood? I'll have my people prepare for your arrival, and Captain. Thank you. The Confederation team said we were hopeless. After the communication ended, So-min turned to her crew. You heard the situation. 300 people need our help. Hyun-woo, do you really think we can free that ship? I think we have a better chance than anyone else. Our equipment is simple, but strong. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. Tae-ho grinned. When do we leave? Now, So-min said. Ji Yoon, send word to Space Command about our mission. Hyun-woo, get your equipment ready. We have less than 3 days to save 300 people. As the stalwart changed course toward Kepler 442b, Hyun-woo felt the familiar excitement of a challenging engineering problem. The aliens had failed because they relied too much on their fancy technology. But humans had been solving problems with simple tools and hard work for thousands of years. He looked out at the stars and smiled. Sometimes being primitive was exactly what the situation required. The rescue mission was about to begin. The shuttle shook violently as it entered Kepler 442b's atmosphere. Han-woo gripped his seat and watched the instruments flicker on and off. The electromagnetic interference was already starting to affect their electronics. Landing in 5 minutes, Captain So-min announced from the pilot's seat. Everyone hang on. This is going to be rough. Through the window, Hyun-woo could see the mining station, Deep Haven. It looked like a small metal city sitting on a brown landscape. Around it stretched the famous Muck fields, areas that looked like muddy lakes from above. Somewhere in those fields, the massive or holler mountain's edge was trapped. The shuttle touched down with a hard bump. Immediately, several people in mining suits ran toward them across the landing pad. The sky above was an angry gray color, and Hyun-woo could feel the static electricity in the air making his hair stand up. Station. Chief Dong Hyun-yoon was the first to reach them. He was a big man with tired eyes and dirt under his fingernails. Behind him came a woman with short black hair and a serious expression. Engineer Park, Yoon said, shaking Hyun-woo's hand firmly. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think any human ship would come. Most people think this planet is too dangerous. Most people don't understand that dangerous and impossible are two different things. Hyun-woo replied. The woman stepped forward. I'm Ji-nam, xenogeologist. I was the one who first studied the muck when we set up the mining operation here. I need to warn you about something strange we've been detecting. What kind of strange? Tae-ho asked. Readings from deep under the muck layer. Something that doesn't match normal rock or soil patterns. We think there might be large structures down there. A third person joined them, a stern-looking man with suspicious eyes. I'm Woo-jin Lim, head of security. Before we go any further, I need to know your plan. The Confederation teams had plans too, and they all failed. Han-woo looked toward the muck fields. Even from a distance, he could see the top of the mountain's edge sticking up like a metal island. The ship was huge, easily 3 times the size of the Stalwart. The alien teams failed because they tried to use anti-gravity to lift the ship straight up, Hyun-woo explained. But you can't lift something out of hardened material that way. It's like trying to pull a bottle out of ice by just pulling on the bottle. So what's your plan? Yoon asked. We don't fight the muck. We convince it to let go. Hanju looked interested. What do you mean? The muck hardens because of electromagnetic fields, right? So, if we can create the right kind of electromagnetic activity, we should be able to soften it again. Woo Jin frowned. The electromagnetic pulses happen naturally during storms. We can't control them. We don't need to control the natural ones. We can make our own. Hyun-woo pulled out a tablet that was specially shielded against electromagnetic interference. On the screen was a rough diagram he had drawn during the flight. We use controlled plasma charges around the ship, not to blast it free, but to create small electromagnetic fields that will soften the muck. And then we use mechanical leverage to pull the ship out while the muck is soft. Tejo studied the diagram. That's brilliant, Chief. But won't the plasma charges damage the ship? Not if we place them correctly. Human ships are built to handle much worse than that. The mountain's edge has thick armor plating. Yoon looked hopeful for the first time. How long will this take? If we work fast, maybe 18 hours? But we need your mining equipment and all the people you can spare. You have them, Yoon said immediately, as they walked toward the muck fields. Hyun-woo noticed that the electromagnetic interference was getting stronger. His shielded tablet worked fine, but he could see that some of the station's equipment was starting to malfunction. The pre-storm pulses are beginning, Yoonji explained. They'll get worse every hour until the main storm hits. When they reached the edge of the muck field, Hyun-woo got his first close look at the trapped ship. The mountain's edge was even bigger than he had thought. Most of it was buried, with only the top sections visible above the hardened brown surface. How deep is it buried? He asked. About 30 meters, Yoon replied. The muck was liquid when the ship landed for loading. Then the electromagnetic pulse hit and turned it solid with the ship halfway sunk. Han-woo walked around the trapped vessel, studying the situation. The muck looked like hardened clay, but he knew it was much stronger than that. Several pieces of alien rescue equipment lay abandoned nearby, evidence of the failed attempts to free the ship. Where's your heavy equipment? He asked. Yoon pointed to a collection of mining machines parked near the field. Excavators, plasma cutters, and lifting cranes. Most of it still works despite the interference because it's built simple and tough. Good, that's exactly what we need. As they planned the rescue operation, Eunji approached Hyun-woo with a worried expression. Engineer Park, I need to tell you something about those readings I mentioned. They're getting stronger. Whatever is down there under the muck, it seems to be reacting to the electromagnetic activity. What kind of reactions? Movement patterns. Almost like something large is stirring down there. Hyun-woo considered this information. He had dealt with strange alien phenomena before. Usually, the best approach was to focus on the immediate problem and worry about mysteries later. How deep are these readings? Much deeper than the ship, maybe 100 meters down or more. Then whatever it is, it shouldn't interfere with our rescue operation? But as Hyun-woo looked at the trapped ship and felt the increasing electromagnetic pulses in the air, he wondered if this mission was going to be more complicated than he had thought. The storm was coming, 300 people needed evacuation, and now there was something unknown stirring beneath their feet. It was going to be a very interesting day. The work began at dawn. Hyun-woo stood next to the trapped mountain's edge as his team prepared the heavy mining equipment. The electromagnetic pulses were getting stronger every hour, making sparks jump between metal objects. Kyung-soo, bring the excavator closer to the ship's port side, Hyun-woo called out to the heavy machinery operator. Kyung-soo-an was a quiet man who knew his machines better than anyone at the station. Yes, sir, Kyung-soo replied, moving the massive excavator into position. The controls are getting twitchy from the interference, but she hold together. Tejo was working on a plasma cutter, making modifications to focus the beam more precisely. Chief, I've adjusted the cutting pattern like you wanted. This should create the electromagnetic field without damaging the ship's hull. The plan was dangerous and complex. They needed to dig around the ship while placing plasma charges at exact locations. The charges would create small electromagnetic pulses to soften the muck, but the timing had to be perfect. Medical Officer Mi-young Seo approached Hyun-woo with a worried expression. Engineer Park, I've already treated 3 workers for electrical burns from the interference. The conditions are getting worse. I know, Hyun-woo said, but we can't stop now. Tell everyone to wear double gloves and stay away from exposed metal. The excavation work was brutal. The hardened muck was tougher than concrete, and every piece had to be carefully removed to avoid damaging the ship. Kyung-soo worked his machine. with incredible skill, digging precisely around the buried hull dot as they dug deeper. They began to see more of the mountain's edge. The ship was in better condition than expected. Human engineering had built it strong enough to survive being buried. "Look at this," Tejo said, pointing to a section of the ship's hull. "The armor plating isn't even dented." Try doing that to one of those fancy alien ships. By midday they had dug down 15 meters around the ship's front section. That's when something unexpected happened. Kyung-Soo's excavator broke through the muck into empty space. "Chief," Kyung-Soo called out, "there's a hole down here, a big one." Han-Woo climbed down into the excavated area to look. Sure enough, there was a large cavity beneath the muck. The space was dark and seemed to extend far underground. Eun joined him, carrying a scanner that still worked despite the interference. "The readings are much stronger now. There are definitely large, organic structures down there." "Organic?" Hyan-Woo asked. "You mean something alive?" "I'm not sure. The patterns suggest biological material, but it's not moving like normal life forms, more like it's sleeping or dormant." Station Chief Yoon climbed down to see what they had found. "In 20 years of mining here, we've never dug this deep. What do you think it is?" Han-Woo shined a light into the cavity. The beam showed smooth, curved surfaces that definitely didn't look like rock formations. They had an almost shell-like appearance. "Whatever it is, it's been here a long time," he said. "But right now, we have a ship to free and people to save. Should we stop digging?" Mi-young asked. "We don't know what we might disturb down there." Han-Woo looked at the trapped ship, then at the threatening sky above. The electromagnetic pulses were getting stronger, and they could all feel the static electricity building in the air. "We can't stop," he said firmly. 300 people will die. If that storm hits while they're still here, we have to take the risk." The team continued working, but everyone was nervous about the discovery. As they dug deeper around the ship, they found more cavities. Whatever was beneath the muck was huge. By evening, they had cleared enough space around the mountain's edge to begin placing the plasma charges. Tejo had modified 12 charges to create the right electromagnetic pattern. "Remember," Hyun-Woo told his team, "when we activate these charges, we'll have maybe 10 minutes while the muck is soft. The cranes and cables have to pull the ship free in that time, or we'll have to start over." "What if we can't get another chance?" Taiho asked. "Then we find another way." "That's what humans do." As they prepared for the first attempt, Yoonji's scanner began beeping rapidly. "The organic readings are spiking. Something down there is reacting to our activity." "Reacting how?" Yoon asked. "I'm detecting movement." "Very slow, but definite movement." Hyun-Woo felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air. They had found something alive beneath the muck, and their digging was disturbing it. "Chief," Kyung-Soo called from his excavator, "the ground is starting to vibrate. Just a little, but it's getting stronger." Everyone could feel it now, a deep rumbling that seemed to come from far below. Whatever was down there was definitely waking up. Security Chief Woo-jin grabbed Hyun-Woo's arm. "We should evacuate the area. This is too dangerous." "And leave 300 people to die in the storm?" Hyun-Woo shook his head. "No, we knew this mission was dangerous when we started." The rumbling grew stronger. Loose equipment began to rattle, and small pieces of debris fell from the excavated walls. "Everyone stay calm," Hyun-Woo ordered. "We're going to activate the plasma charges and free this ship. Whatever is down there will have to wait." But as he looked at the nervous faces of his team, Han-Woo wondered if they were about to face something much more dangerous than a storm. The rescue mission had just become much more complicated. The ground shook so violently that Hyun-Woo had to grab onto the excavator to keep from falling. Deep beneath their feet, something massive was stirring to life. "All plasma charges are in position," Tejo reported, his voice tight with worry. "But Chief, if we set them off now, we might wake up whatever is down there completely." "We don't have a choice," Hyun-Woo replied. "The storm will be here in 18 hours. Those people need to be evacuated." Biochemist Sun Ho Kang ran up to them carrying a sample container. He had been studying pieces of organic material they had found in the deeper excavations. Engineer Park, you need to see this, Sun Ho said, breathing hard. The organic samples aren't just biological material. They're part of something much larger. Something that's been alive for a very long time. How long? Unji asked. The carbon dating suggests thousands of years. Maybe tens of thousands. Another tremor shook the ground, stronger than before. This time, several pieces of mining equipment shifted position and one of the plasma charges nearly fell into the cavity. It's definitely waking up, Kyung-soo said from his excavator. I can feel movement through the machine's tracks. Pilot Hyjin Park contacted them from the emergency shuttle. Ground team, I'm reading massive electromagnetic activity from beneath your position. Whatever is down there is generating its own electrical field. Hyun-woo's mind raced. An electromagnetic field from beneath the muck could explain a lot of things. Hyjin, what kind of field patterns are you detecting? Complex patterns, almost like a heartbeat, and they're getting stronger. Suddenly, Yunji grabbed Hyun-woo's arm. That's it. The creature's bioelectric field is interfering with the muck's hardening process. What do you mean? The muck hardens because of electromagnetic storms, right? But if there's a creature down there generating its own electromagnetic field, that field would affect how the muck behaves. Taeho looked excited despite the danger. So the creature might be the reason the muck is so hard to work with. Exactly. And if the creature is waking up, its changing bioelectric patterns could actually help us. Station Chief Yoon looked skeptical. Help us how? By causing earthquakes? No, Hyun-woo said, understanding Yeonji's idea. By changing the electromagnetic field that controls the muck. If we can work with the creature's awakening instead of fighting it, we might be able to free the ship more easily. Security Chief Woo Jin shook his head. This is insane. You want to wake up some ancient alien monster to help us? Not wake it up, Hyun-woo corrected. It's already waking up because of our digging. The question is whether we work with it or against it. The Confederation observers who had been watching from a distance approached the worksite. Their leader, a tall alien with blue skin, spoke in heavily accented human language. Human engineer, this situation has become too dangerous. You should evacuate immediately and wait for proper diplomatic contact procedures. How long would that take? Hyun-woo asked. Several months to establish communication protocols with an unknown species. We don't have several months. We have 18 hours. Another massive tremor shook the area. This time, cracks appeared in the hardened muck around the trapped ship. But instead of making things worse, the cracks seemed to be loosening the muck's grip on the hull. Look, Taeho pointed at the ship. The muck is starting to soften around the ship's edges. Unji checked her scanner. The creature's bioelectric field is interfering with the muck's molecular structure. It's breaking down the hardening process. Hyun-woo made a decision that would have seemed impossible to anyone except a human engineer. We're going to try to communicate with it. Communicate with what? Yoon asked. The creature. If it's intelligent enough to generate complex electromagnetic patterns, it might be intelligent enough to understand that we're not trying to hurt it. The alien observers looked shocked. Impossible. First contact protocols require years of preparation. Human first contact protocols require about 5 minutes and a lot of hope. Han-woo replied. He turned to Communications Officer Ji-yoon, who had come down from the shuttle. Ji-yoon, can you modify our communications equipment to send electromagnetic signals directly into the ground? I think so, but what would we say? We start simple. Mathematical concepts, basic patterns. If it's intelligent, it will recognize that we're trying to communicate. As the team worked to set up the modified communication equipment, the tremors continued. But now they noticed something interesting. The tremors seemed to follow a pattern, almost like the creature was responding to their activity. It knows we're here, Sun Ho said quietly. It's aware of what we're doing. Then maybe it can understand that we're trying to help each other. Hyun-woo said the first communication attempt was simple, a series of mathematical progressions sent as electromagnetic pulses into the ground. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. 13. The Fibonacci sequence. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then the ground tremors changed. Instead of random shaking, they began to follow a pattern. 1 pulse, 2 pulses, 3 pulses, 5 pulses. It's responding, Jiz said. With amazement. It understands mathematics. The alien observers stood in stunned silence. What would have taken their diplomatic corps months to achieve, the humans had accomplished in minutes. Now what? Taeho asked. Now we try to explain our situation, Hyun-woo said, and hope it wants to help. The ancient creature beneath the muck was awake, aware, and listening. The rescue mission had just become the first interspecies cooperation in the planet's history. The communication with the ancient creature was slow but steady. Using modified electromagnetic pulses, Hyun-woo's team had established basic contact. The creature responded to mathematical concepts and simple patterns, communications specialist. J1O had worked through the night to improve their signal equipment. Engineer Park, I've boosted our transmission power. We should be able to send more complex messages now. Good work, J1. Let's try to explain our situation. The storm clouds above were getting darker and more threatening. Environmental Systems Engineer Young Mi-han monitored the weather conditions from her portable station. We have maybe 12 hours before the full Tempest hits, Young Mi reported. The electromagnetic activity in the atmosphere is building rapidly. Hyun-woo looked at the trapped mountain's edge. The creature's bioelectric field had softened some of the muck around the ship, but not enough to free it completely. They needed the creature's full cooperation. Ji-yoon, send this pattern, Hyun-woo said, giving her a sequence that represented the mining station, the trapped ship, and the approaching storm. The response came quickly. The ground tremors formed a complex pattern that seemed to express understanding, and something that might have been concern. It knows about the storm, Yeonji said, studying her readings. The bioelectric patterns show that it's familiar with the electromagnetic cycles on this planet. Of course it is, Taeho realized. It's been living here for thousands of years. It probably knows the storm patterns better than we do. Suddenly, the creature's electromagnetic field changed dramatically. Instead of the steady pulse they had been receiving, the signals became urgent and repetitive. What's it trying to tell us? Station Chief Yoon asked. Sun-ho had been analyzing the creature's biosamples all night. I think I know. The mining operations have been interfering with its natural hibernation cycle. The electromagnetic equipment we use disrupts its sleep patterns. So it's been suffering because of our mining work? Hyun-woo asked. Exactly. And now that it's fully awake, it's probably in pain from all the electromagnetic interference we've been generating for years. Hyun-woo felt a wave of understanding. The creature wasn't angry or dangerous. It was hurt and confused by the constant electronic noise from the mining station. Can we send a message explaining that we'll move the mining operations? He asked. J1. I'll try, but it's a complex concept to communicate with electromagnetic pulses. As J1 worked on the message, the storm above grew worse. Lightning began flashing in the clouds, and the static electricity in the air made everyone's hair stand on end. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast, Young-mi warned. The storm's edge will reach us in 6 hours. Hyun-woo made another decision that surprised everyone. Instead of just sending a message about moving the mining operations, he decided to propose a trade. Send this pattern, he told J1. We help each other. We move our operations away from its resting place, and it helps us free the trapped ship. The alien observers looked shocked. This is completely against diplomatic protocol, their leader protested. You cannot make agreements with unknown species without proper authorization. We're not making a treaty, Hyun-woo replied. We're asking for help to save lives. The creature's response was immediate and positive. The electromagnetic patterns showed clear agreement. More importantly, its bioelectric field began to change in a way that directly affected the muck around the ship. The muck is softening, Kyung-soo reported from his excavator. I can see it becoming liquid around the ship's hull. Everyone to positions, Hyun-woo ordered. Prepare the lifting cables and cranes. We may only get one chance at this. As the creature's bioelectric field intensified, the hardened muck began to flow like thick liquid. The mountain's edge, which had been trapped for days, started to shift. Slightly. It's working, Taeho shouted. The ship is moving. Activate all lifting systems, Hyan-Woo commanded. Pull steady and even. Don't jerk the cables. The human-built cranes and mechanical systems worked perfectly despite the electromagnetic interference. While alien technology would have failed in these conditions, the simple mechanical systems functioned exactly as designed. Slowly. Incredibly, the massive or hauler began to rise from the liquid muck. The creature's bioelectric field kept the material soft while the human machinery provided the physical force needed to lift the ship. I can't believe this is working, Medical Officer Mi Young said, watching the impossible rescue operation. It's working because both species are contributing. What they do best, Hyan-Woo explained. The creature controls the electromagnetic environment, and we provide the mechanical solutions. The ship continued to rise. After 20 minutes of careful lifting, the mountain's edge was completely free of the muck and sitting on solid ground. Ship is free and secure, Kyung-Soo reported. All systems show green. The creature's electromagnetic signals changed again, this time showing what seemed like satisfaction and gratitude. It's thanking us, Jae-won said with wonder. And I think it's saying goodbye. The bioelectric field began to fade as the creature prepared to return to its hibernation. But before it went dormant again, it sent one final message. What's it saying? Unstick studied her scanner readings. I think it's telling us where we can mine without disturbing its rest. It's showing us a different location on the planet. It's giving us a new place to work, Hyan-Woo realized. Somewhere that won't interfere with its sleep cycle. As the storm approached and the creature's signals faded, the rescue team began the evacuation. 300 colonists boarded the freed mountain's edge, which would take them to safety before the Tempest hit. The ancient creature had helped them save lives. And in return, humanity would respect its home, the cooperation between two completely different species had succeeded where advanced technology had failed. The Category 5 Tempest hit Kepler 442b with incredible fury. From the safety of the orbiting mountain's edge, Hyan-Woo watched through the observation windows as lightning storms covered the entire planet's surface. The electromagnetic activity was so intense that it looked like the world was on fire. All 300 colonists are safely aboard, Captain So-min reported. The ship's mechanical systems are holding up perfectly despite the electromagnetic interference. Colony Administrator In Ho-beek approached Hyan-Woo with a grateful expression. Engineer Park, I've been managing colonies for 15 years. I've never seen anything like what you accomplished down there. We had help, Hyan-Woo replied simply. The creature did most of the hard work. Through the storm, they could still detect faint electromagnetic signals from the planet's surface. The ancient creature had returned to its deep hibernation, but not before showing them something remarkable. The mapping data the creature provided is incredible, said Chief of the new mining survey team Soo-jin Kwon. It showed us mineral deposits we never knew existed, all in areas that won't disturb its rest. The storm raged for 3 days. When it finally ended, the stalwart returned to the planet's surface to help with the cleanup and relocation of the mining operations. The muck fields have returned to their normal liquid state, Eun-ji reported. Old traces of our excavation work have been washed away by the storm. What about the creature? Taeho asked. Sleeping peacefully, according to the scanners. The electromagnetic patterns show it's in deep hibernation again. Station Chief Yoon supervised the moving of mining equipment to the new location the creature had suggested. The mineral quality here is actually better than our old site. That creature knew exactly what it was doing. The Confederation observers have remained unusually quiet during the entire operation. Finally, their leader approached Hyan-Woo. Human engineer, your methods were completely unorthodox and violated all established diplomatic procedures. I know, Hyan-Woo said. However, you achieved in hours what our standard protocols would have taken years to accomplish. Our superiors are very interested in studying your approach. Our approach is pretty simple, Hyun-woo explained. When someone needs help, you help them. When someone offers to help you, you accept gracefully. When you make an agreement, you keep it. But how did you know the creature would cooperate? I didn't know. But I knew that intelligent beings usually want to solve problems, not create them. The creature was suffering because of our mining operations. We offered to fix that problem, and it helped us solve ours. Young-mi was setting up new environmental monitoring stations at the relocated mining site. The electromagnetic readings here are much more stable. We should be able to predict the storm cycles more accurately. More importantly, added J1, we've established a communication protocol with the planet's original inhabitant. If we ever need to talk to it again, we know how. The alien observers were particularly interested in the human mechanical systems that had worked during the rescue. Your lifting equipment functioned perfectly despite electromagnetic interference that would have disabled our technology. One of them noted, "That's because we build things to work even when everything goes wrong," Kyung-soo explained. Alien. Technology is more advanced, but human technology is more stubborn. Stubborn? It keeps working even when it shouldn't. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. As the new mining operation began at the location suggested by the creature, the colonists found that their work was more efficient and less disruptive to the planet's natural cycles. The creature wasn't just helping us, Sun-ho observed. It was teaching us how to work with this world instead of fighting against it. That's probably why it survived here for thousands of years, Mi-young added. It learned to cooperate with the planet's natural systems. 3 weeks later, the stalwart prepared to leave Kepler 442b. The mining station was operating smoothly at its new location, and the colonists had established a monitoring system to ensure they never disturbed the sleeping creature again. Mission complete, Captain So-min announced. 300 lives saved, and we've made a new friend in the process. Hyun-woo took one last look at the planet's surface. The muck fields looked peaceful in the sunlight, giving no sign of the incredible intelligence that rested beneath them. Think we'll ever meet that creature again? Taeho asked. Maybe, if we do, at least we'll know how to talk to it. As the stalwart departed for its next cargo run, Hyun-woo reflected on what they had accomplished. The alien rescue teams had failed because they tried to impose their advanced technology on the situation. But humans had succeeded by working with both the environment and its original inhabitant. Sometimes the best solution wasn't the most advanced one. Sometimes it was the most cooperative one. The ancient creature slept peacefully beneath the muck, and the human colonists worked carefully above it. Both species had learned that cooperation was stronger than any technology. The storm had ended, but the friendship between two very different kinds of life had just begun.